Hello, I am Dr. Alexandra Estrella, Superintendent of Norwalk Public Schools. With our school reopening task force hard at work, we wanted to share with you the work underway for planning a safe return to school this fall. The health and well-being of students and staff is the number one priority in all our work. Norwalk's reopening plan will follow the guidance provided by the Connecticut State Department of Education, which requires us to plan for a full return to in-person learning as long as the risk for COVID-19 remains low in our area. Families who would prefer not to have their children return to school in person will still have the choice to select distance learning. The school district is also making plans in case the COVID-19 risk levels rises. If necessary, we will prepare to shift to a combination of in-person and distance learning or to full distance learning like this past spring. Like you, we all hope that will not be needed. Norwalk Public Schools will submit our recommendations for reopening schools to the state on July 24th. Along with other districts throughout Connecticut. During the week of July 27th, we will hold a series of town hall meetings via Zoom to outline this preliminary plan and to answer your questions. Dates and times will be available shortly on our website, on social media, and in your email. Thank you for listening to the subcommittee updates that follow. We look forward to connecting with you again soon.
I'm Brenda Myers, the Chief Academic Officer for Norwalk Public Schools. Together, we've been working as the Reopening Task Force to look at the start of the 2021 school year. Specifically, our work group has been looking at the educational plans. Norwalk Public Schools will reopen with instructional schedules and models that are flexible and based on current transmission levels. We understand that we may start the school under one model, and as new information becomes available about health and safety, we may transition to a different model. We have designed our reopening plan to ensure transitions between risk levels are seamless and predictable, and we've paid specific attention to a student's daily schedule, their teacher and course assignment, curricular expectations, technology integration, assessment, and grading practices to ensure that those will remain constant for the student even as the schedule becomes flexible or a transition is required.
The Health and Safety Subcommittee's goal is to ensure the safety and well-being of the staff and students. All members of our community will be provided information about the behaviors that reduce and prevent the spread of COVID-19. We have designed protocols and corrective measures following Connecticut State and CDC guidelines for reopening in the fall. The implementation of these protocols and measures are needed to maintain a healthy school and work environment for all.
The Special Education Subcommittee's planning was guided by several principles. First, in order to meet our responsibility for IEPs, the district has placed a priority of providing our students with disabilities with daily full-time in-person instruction. For families who opt into virtual learning, IEP service hours will be provided synchronistically. While IDEA was not designed for COVID, we are committed to closing the gaps for our most vulnerable students. Second, we recognize that students with disabilities are general education students first, and they will be grouped into their classroom cohorts to ensure that our staff can provide IEP supports and services while maintaining safety precautions. Finally, we have prioritized daily social and emotional supports for all students while increasing our community-based supports to provide consultation to the adults in our community. We have missed our children and look forward to working together as we welcome them back to school. Our motto has become, under, over, through, or around, we are Norwalk and we will find a way.
Hi everyone, I'm Doug Marchetti, Athletic Director at Norwalk High School, and I'm representing the Co-Curricular Subcommittee of the Norwalk Public Schools Reopening Task Force. Our committee feels that involvement in co-curricular activities is absolutely vital to the overall health of our students. The resumption of in-person classes, athletics, performing arts, and other before and after school activities are crucial to the growth, development, and mental and emotional wellness of all students in the city of Norwalk. As we go through the planning process, we realize the pandemic is likely far from over. As a result, in order to conduct practices, auditions, games, competitions, performances, and programs, it will take a resolve on the part of everyone to adjust to any current circumstances. Many things will not operate as they have in the past, and games, competitions, and performances will likely look very different for the foreseeable future. Any return to programming must be done with a positive and informed perspective to keep these programs going. We need to work together and, in the moment, with the health and safety of our students, staff, parents, officials, and supporters paramount in our decision-making.
The Food Service Department and the Food Service Task Force Reopening Committee have been highly focused on redesigning how we serve fresh food to our students. We have focused much of our efforts in 3 key areas. Our primary focus is to serve food in a manner that ensures the safety of all of our students and staff. We then focused on designing a portable food delivery system that supports limited student movement throughout the school to enable eating in the classroom. And we have implemented new procedures in the free and reduced application process and adding funds to student meal accounts in support of cashless and touchless dining. We are confident that our students will be safe with us this fall.
Hello, Norwalk Public Schools community. Transportation to school will look different for the coming school year. Students who choose to attend classes in person and opt in for bus transportation will follow social distancing guidelines and adhere to the following: wearing a mask at the bus stop, loading the bus back to front and adhering to seating assignment, wearing a mask at all times on the bus, and unloading the bus front to back on arrival at school. Norwalk Public Schools will continue to follow public health guidance in regards to screening students. Upon arrival at school, school administrators and staff will be on hand to assist students with entry points. Drivers will maintain mask wearing at all times while students load, ride, and unload the bus. Drivers will wipe down major touch points of the bus between school tiers and will deep clean buses between morning and afternoon routes. Our goal is to keep your child and our staff safe on their way to and from school.
The Facilities Department and the Facilities Reopening Task Force Committee have been highly focused on preparing all schools for the upcoming reopening. With in-school summer academy in place, we've learned a lot in the process. Since the primary emphasis concerns safety and health of all students and staff, we have focused much of our efforts on 3 key areas. The first being enhanced sanitation of all touchpoint areas with a proven product. We also installed signage which provides a good visual and includes social distancing. We have made adjustments to the ventilation systems that follow the CDC and state guidelines. We are confident that all students and staff will return to a safe environment.
Hello, my name is Ralph Alanzisi, Chief of Digital Learning and Development. The Technology Subcommittee met numerous times this week and developed 3 strategies that will be the focus for our reopening. The first is to make sure all students have equitable access to the internet. We're working with our partners at Altice, Sprint, and T-Mobile to have internet options for students and families in need. The second is to develop an online help desk for teachers and parents so that they can be supported in both English and Spanish with both instructional and technical issues during any of our distance learning initiatives. The third is the deployment and manage of our student devices. If the need arises, a depot for computer replacement will be set up to allow for families to get the support that they need.
I'm Brenda Wilcox-Williams, the Chief Communications Officer for Norwalk Public Schools. The Family and Engagement portion of the School Reopening Task Force is focused on 4 priorities: evolving and enhancing family engagement strategies to build connections, providing support to families, emphasizing equity and access, ensuring that all customers are promptly and fully informed, and fostering effective two-way communications with partners such as families, educators, and staff. Hearing from families and staff is critical to the task force, so an immediate action item was to create and distribute surveys to gather feedback about the return to school. With the need for social distancing in mind, the team is also discussing different approaches to traditional events such as open houses and back-to-school nights. Other topics include partnering with community resources to reach and support families in need, making sure that English learner families are welcomed and included, and ways to make sure that all families are connected to important information.
Hello, this is Javier Padilla, the Chief Human Resources Talent Officer for the Norwalk Public Schools. The Talent and Staffing Subcommittee has been busy exploring and vetting the optimal environment in relation to one of the most critical assets of Norwalk Public Schools, our employees. Our North Star is to ensure that our employees return to a safe working environment. There are 3 specific areas of focus. First, workforce planning. This will allow us to align our current resources to the needs and priorities of the district. This will highlight any potential talent gaps so that action plans can be developed. We also want to understand the preferences of our employees in order to leverage and maximize skills. Second, safety. We are reviewing all necessary steps to ensure the health and safety of our staff. This includes considering the emotional, technical, and professional development support required to allow every employee in the district to be successful. Third, policies. We are reviewing human resources policies and procedures to ensure they are clear and easily accessible for those employees who may need special leaves or reasonable accommodations during this critical time. Some of this work is dependent on the instructional delivery model adopted by the district. However, it was vital to begin obtaining data from our employees around work and instructional preferences. With this backdrop, members of the Talent and Staffing Subcommittee reviewed and modified the Panorama School Reopening Survey for Staff, which was disseminated to employees on Thursday, July 16th. The survey will poll employees in the following areas: preparing for return to school, instructional preferences, return to school professional needs, and social-emotional well-being. I am confident this data will assist the district for a successful reopening. This will also allow our employees to engage in optimal productivity. We look forward to analyzing and sharing the data with all stakeholders. Thank you.
Hi, this is Tom Hamilton, the Chief Financial Officer for the Norwalk Public Schools and the Chair of the District's Finance Subcommittee of the Reopening Task Force. The Finance Subcommittee has been busy helping to support the work of the other subcommittees, particularly in terms of quantifying the financial impact that the COVID-19 pandemic will have on the plan to reopen Norwalk schools in August. Our subcommittee has been gathering costs associated with a wide array of new staffing, equipment, materials, and other safeguards that are needed in order to make the return to in-person instruction as safe as possible. Some of the items identified include bus monitors to ensure that students riding school buses are wearing required masks, additional school nursing support to conduct health screenings and staff required isolation rooms at each school, additional social and emotional supports and intervention services, additional technology support and equipment, various personal protective equipment such as masks, gowns, plexiglass dividers and other PPE, additional cleaning and disinfecting supplies and materials, and many other new expenses that will be necessary to safely reopen our schools under the current conditions. On Friday, July 17th, the Finance Subcommittee filed our preliminary cost projections with the Connecticut State Department of Education in response to a survey request from the state. Our filing projects our COVID-19 reopening costs at $21.6 million, comprised of $15 million in personnel costs and $6.6 million in non-personnel costs. As the District Reopening Task Force continues its work, our subcommittee will continue to refine these budget estimates.
On behalf of our task force, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to the various ways we have attempted to make your return to school a safe one. Throughout the process of designing our school reopening plan, we have made the health, safety, and well-being of students and staff our #1 priority. We look forward to welcoming you back to school this fall.